what you now have officially is that. That's the part where we're going to attach to the Kisslock purse. All right, so if you want to start attaching your piece now without doing the lining, head over to that time right now. And for the rest of us, we're going to be doing some lining. All right, so let's do that right now. Move everything out the way and grab this cotton. You need a different cotton for your lining, and grab your pieces. We're going to start off with the longer piece first. Where's the other one? And here's the other one. All right, so what I want you to do, I did do a different stitch earlier, and then I thought, no, this is going to be too confusing for everyone. So all I want you to do is find the right side of your work. I don't know which one's the right now. There, is that the right? That's wrong. Yeah, that's the right side. Find the right side of your work. Get rid of all these tails that I had there from before, and then just grab your thread. Make your thread, I don't know, give your arm's length from one arm to the other, and then another half of an arm, and then that. There's no measuring. Yeah, there's no measuring. And then thread your needle, and this takes forever too because it's such thin cotton. Oh, didn't do too bad this time. And what I want you to do is double up your thread like so. Grab the two tail ends of your thread. And what we're going to do, let's move this so you can see what I'm doing here. It's very hard to see the thread, isn't it? So what you want to do is just grab both the sides, both the tails. So we've doubled our thread, yeah? And with these tails, all you want to do is wrap some yarn around your finger and then just spin it and pull it, and it starts to knot. Do it a few times. All right, because that's not going to hold. So once, twice, I don't know, 3 times. Whoops, that didn't work. 3 times and 4 times, and pull it down and it starts to knot. All right, so do it about 3 or 4 times or whatever. Now this is the right side of our work. We're going to fold our piece over. So now you're seeing the wrong side of your work. I think this is right. I've got to have a look at it. All right, so your right sides should be facing each other. Yes, and you're going to just pop your sewing needle. I can get this to work. There we go. Pop your sewing needle through just a little bit of stitching, just a little bit of a space, tiny little space there. Pop your sewing needle through like that and pull the thread through. And then what I want you to do is go over the side here and just go back into the space. So you're just literally going over. It's only to close up this area. Yeah. And there. Okay. Whoop, don't pull too tight. Well, that happens. All right. So then you're just going to bring your thread back through here, but give yourself a little tiny space away from the knot. Pull it through. And then what you're going to do, let's pull some thread out there. Then what you're going to do is go back into the knot and just pull it down. And now you're going to do what I like to call 1 step forward, 2 steps back. If my thread would not like this, I would be very happy. That's where our last stitch was. We bring our needle in front of that last stitch by a little bit, pull the needle through, not so hard like that, and you go back into the other stitch that you first started with and bring that down. All right, so that's pretty much it. You go forward a little bit like that. Try and keep it nice and straight, not crooked like me, but don't worry about me. Don't you like that? Don't worry about me. And just go back into the other stitch. I find it easier just to go like that and like that, and everything stays a little bit straight normally. That didn't work. So it's a little bit over the thread and a little bit before the thread. Maybe make the stitches a tiny bit bigger. That's too small. Don't make them too big though, because then you will end up with gaps in your work, and you don't want that. Okay, so again, you go into the stitch before and you make a whole new stitch there. All right, And get rid of some of this thread, that'll be good. And the amount of space you leave, whoops, do that again. The amount of space you leave there is kind of like a little tiny pinky. So it's a 1/2 centimetre, because a half on this side and a half on that side makes 1 centimetre. And remember, we left a centimetre so that we can actually sew that centimetre up. All right, centimetre, 1/4 of an inch, or whatever it is, under 1/2 an inch, something like that. All right, so there you go. Just keep doing that. It's going to take you forever. No, it's going to take me forever. So just keep doing that over and over again until you get to right towards the very end. Wait for me there, and then I'll show you what we're going to do next. Go ahead and do that now, and I'll meet you back here once you're done. Alrighty guys, here we are at the end of the row, and I've pulled this too tight. She's pulled it too tight. So what we want to do is do the very last section there and leave that little bit there so that you can do this. I still want to do one more and fill up that gap. Like so. And then, come on Mary. Of course I'm getting a knot right at the very last stitch. Don't you love it? All right, and then what you want to do, same thing you did before. You want to turn this over and just go around into the stitch that way. And the only reason is it kind of closes that section up. Don't pull too tight because you don't want to tug it. And then all you're going to do, bring your needle through this way, like so. And you are going to just thread through some of the material, grab your tail or your work, your threads if you will, wrap it around your needle a few times, about 2 or 3 times, and pull that needle through without wrecking everything, Mary. Pull the needle through like so, and I pulled really tight. Don't do that. And then do it one more time, you know, a bit further down, whatever suits you. Just go through a little bit there, get your thread, wrap it around a couple of times, pull it through, and then grab your scissors and cut your piece. Now your piece is now set to go. All right, so what you have now, if we turn it in that way, that's the right side of your work. This will go inside your bag like so. So there's your bag, it'll go on the inside, and this will be on the outside, so you'll get to see that part of it and not that part of it, all right? But you still want to keep it a little bit neat. Now it's up to you if you want to give it a trim. I would, to be fair, trim it a little bit. It's a little bit too, you know, yucky. The tails probably won't come through anyway because the stitch we have used on your actual purse is a rather, you know, tight stitch. So these tails, or these little threads that you see here, they won't come through. Oh, that didn't work. They won't come through. But it was just to clean it up and make it nice, all right? Now what you want to do, turn it in the right way for now. And you want to grab, just, you got a couple of these things, just pull them through. You want to grab your other piece, the little one. There's your little one, all right? Now you want to get the right side of the little one. There's the right side of the little one. You want to face it on the right side of your work. That's now the right side of your piece. And I want to find the matching colours. I don't know why, because it's only going to mess up anyway. It's only going to mess up later. And what you want to do, and you're thinking, oh, it doesn't fit. No, it doesn't. Not supposed to, right? We have to turn it in. You want to line it up. If you've got lines like me, line it up to match. If you haven't, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. And as you can see, I've already played with this. I made a mess. I played with it and did it inside out the wrong way, as you do. And I even recorded it inside out and had to do it again. And there you go. That's life. All right. So mine doesn't marry up. It doesn't matter. As long as you give yourself, you know, the same amount on each side. All right. And what we're going to do is sew that across here on the one piece only. On one side only. So open up your little bag there and you're sewing across there. Yeah, and you can see I did that already on the wrong side. So, all right, so grab your thread and start again with your thread left. So I'm just going to rethread my needle, make a couple of knots, and there we go. All right, so you're going to start by keeping it nice and steady, nice and still. Yeah. Grab your piece. Grab the back of this piece and your small piece right here, and just pop your thread like you did before, but through this piece and the first one, not the second one, just the first one. All right, so you're going through that way. Yeah, and then what you want to do, because you can't do what we did before, just go through there. And then you can jump over your piece like that. And then you can start doing your, whatever it was called, 2 steps forward, 1 step back. 1 step forward, 2 steps back. It doesn't matter. You know what I mean. Don't you love it? You know what I mean. So just keep doing that all the way through. I'm going to, look, I might just pop it on fast. We only have to go up to there, guys. It doesn't make sense for me to get you to head off. Oh, you know what? Head off on your own. Go up to about this spot right here. Meet me there and we'll talk about what we're going to do next. Alrighty guys, here I am at the end of this section here. I've got a little bit I want to do right there. Right. And then what I want to do is go over my piece like that. And then come back through, just anywhere as close as you can get. And then go back. And you want to do the same thing you did before, where you just brought your thread through a little bit here. And, oh, I just pulled that out. Can you see that? Come on, Mary, you can do this. Which way are we going? There we go. And just wrap your thread around your needle a few times and pull it through. Don't pin yourself like I just did. We're going to do it again. I'm going back the other direction just for fun. So we're going to do it one more time. Just a couple of times, and then pull it through, cut your thread. All right. And that's your part of your base done. So grab a new thread, thread it and knot it. I have to keep threading it off air, guys, because I can't see. Such thin yarn and small eye on the needle. The eye is this part of the needle right there. It's really small. You can't tell because I enlarged the camera for you, but you can't tell, but it's there. All right, now you can trim it a little bit. It's entirely up to you. I wouldn't trim it, to be fair, not for this part. Okay, you've done that on this side, yeah? What you want to do, and this is where it's going to get a little tricky, is do the same on the other side, right? But it's kind of got to go like this. Turn it inside out this way, yeah? And then just do it like that there. So the way it's going to be, just make it straight. Yeah, keep it nice and straight as best you can. I wouldn't stress too much about it, because what's going to happen is, I'll show you what's going to happen so you know what we're going to do. We're going to pop it on this side like that. Then later we're going to stitch across here, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But for now, just keep it as straight as you can there. If it helps, just lay it flat and just see where it lands. There's no right or wrong way of doing this. Pop that on top of that, it might help. And then when you leave this flat, you can see it there. Right there. So grab your sewing needle. So it's from there to there. And you are attaching these two pieces now. I hope this is making sense, or this part of it anyway, yeah? So we're going in again, doing it this way. Oh, I forgot to go this way and fix that up. I'm going to go in there. Yep. And come out this way. because we want to close up. That's what this part here is for, closing up. And we've closed up, and then we'll do it that way. All right, so it's all closed up there. And again, don't pull too tight, and just go across again. All right, I don't think I need to show you this part of it. This part's easy. I'll do one more stitch and then we're on our own. Yep. I made that too big anyway. So just do that all the way across your piece. Okay, meet me here once you're done, and then we'll talk about what we're going to do next. Alrighty guys, here I am at the end of the row. Now, I asked you to get to the end here, and I didn't actually get to the end. Come on, Mary, get it right. There we go, right at the end. So here what we want to do, no, one more time. Yep. So here what we want to do is we want to cross over to that piece there. You see what I'm doing there? Gorgeous. And then bring it back up this way. Right. If you've got enough thread to do the next bit, I wouldn't cut this, because what we're going to do now is open up, and what you have now is this, and it looks like it's too big, and it is. It's made that way. So what you want to do is stretch it as best you can. It's made that way because that's our purse. See, our purse is made that way? It's made that way. So what you want to do here is try and keep everything straight. You're going to go over the thickness. So what we're going to do while we're here, we're just going to go into anywhere we want, right? And just pull that thread through. I probably should have got another thread, but anyway, go back into this piece, yeah, that thinner section, and go over and start going across. All right. It doesn't make too much sense now, but once you open the purse, you'll understand what I mean. Yeah, and why we did it this way. So there you go. You could have cut it to fit exactly, but it doesn't look right. It actually looks right like this. When we turn it in the right side, you'll know what I mean. So just keep going all the way across. I'm not going to get you to head off on your own. I think maybe I need to get some more thread, but anyway, just keep going all the way across, right? I'm going to pop this on fast, and I will meet you at the end, which is right there, yeah? It's right there in a moment, and off we go. Alrighty guys, here we are at the end of the row. You probably noticed I had to get some more thread. But what I still have is this. It's still open, and yours would still be open too. So you want to keep going until you come off this piece here. Alright, so just keep going until you are literally off that area. Like so. One more, I think. There. So I'm off. I want to go further in there because it's rounded here. All right. If I can get this to work. Don't you love it? And then just go back in there and do what we did before with the knotting of our work. We've already done it on that side. I might pass the threads through and do it on this side. This is not going to be seen, guys. It's going to be inside your bag, but you do want to get rid of some of this thread that's sticking out, and we'll talk about that in a minute. Once, and then we're going to do it one more time. Why? Because we're sticklers. Well, I am anyway. I really need it not to come undone. Okay. All right, so there you go. Cut that. And if I wanted to, we're going to do this side as well in a minute, right? But if I wanted to show you what I mean by how it looks, remember the bag, how it looks here, and it's kind of that way? That is the way it looks here. You see, you've got that look there now. All right, so you're going to do the same for the other side. And it looks like it's wrong, but it's not that. It's the way it's supposed to be. All right, so that's how you're going to do it on that side. Grab your thread. All right, so here we are. There's our piece. Might pay to do it. No, I think I will do it this side. I want to do it where I can see the bubbled area. See that bubbled area? Okay. Okay, I'm going to move that over a little bit. Just too much on one side and not enough on the other. There we go. All right, so we want to start from the inside right there. From the inside, yeah? Go over it again and through. And then in through there, and just keep going all the way across again. All right, no right or wrong way of doing it, just keep going all the way across. When you get to here where it knots like that, wait there for me and we'll do that section together. Go ahead and finish that and I'll meet you there once you're done. Alrighty, here we are at the end of this section right here, and I'm still going through. I've got another little loop right there that I need to go through, and you would have that too, that section. Yours might not be as prominent as mine, but there you go. So I'm right past my top layer, and all I want to do is go back into my top layer, and that's the other side. We've got threads. I might pop it through there again, just so that I can weave the end through here. Okay. Oops, I've pulled the thread here. Sorry guys, give me a second. There you go, like that. All right, and just do one more and we're good to go. 1 and 2 or 3 if you can fit it. Mine's just too short. So there you go. Look how short my thread is. All right, so there you go. Now you're done here. That didn't cut. Let's try that again. Now if you want, I probably wouldn't, but if you want, maybe just clean the edges a little bit just to get rid of some of that frayed area. But don't cut into your sewing, your part that you've sewed, yeah? You can just clean the edges a little bit. Mine just a little bit extra frayed because naughty me has already done this once before. Now we just want to pop this guy in your purse, as is, inside out, like that. Yeah, and then you can fold it in a little bit and pin it down anywhere you want, okay? All right, so grab your pins like so, and all you're really doing is popping that little centimetre down, okay? And there's no right or wrong way of where you want to put it. You can, if you want to get pedantic, this is what I think you should do. If you want to be pedantic like me, pop it in and have that seam facing the centre of where we started from. If you want to be pedantic, yeah, and just stick your pin down this way, like so. All right, and you want to pull tight across the other side. If your lining is a bit loose, you can just, you know, fix that. Let me just show you what I mean by that. Grab another pin. Go to the opposite side, wherever that is. And down you go, like so. All right, so if your lining is a little loose, which it shouldn't be because we measured it, yeah? You might even find that it'll be tighter once you stretch. There you go. Once I stretch out my bag, the actual crochet part, it's a little tighter, right? So you just do that and you pin it, and you want to bring it down a little bit because you're going to sew it to the row below, all right? Because we need the top row to sew into our purse, right? So you need to sew, I'll just show you the needle. You need to sew your lining in there, like so, and not in the spaces up the top or in the stitches up the top. So go ahead and do that I'm not going to let you sit here and watch me do it. It's going to take forever. So just go ahead and do that as much as you can. I'll put it on fast for you so you can actually see me doing it. Alright, so this is one side done right there. So what you want to do is do the opposite side. I'm going to pull out these threads. But do the opposite side, okay? Meet me back here once you're done and then we will start sewing our lining to the purse. Alrighty guys, here we are at the end of the section, and right now your piece should look like that. And what you want to do, once again, we'll just start exactly where we normally start, just to keep in sync with everything. And all you really want to do is pop your sewing needle inside the material first, like so. Just so that you've got your knot underneath. Oh, by the way, make sure you've threaded your needle and knotted it. You know that's what we've been doing all along. And notice how I'm just tucking that little knot on the inside of the piece. Then I want to go back like we did before and into the stitch below, not your stitches on top, but the stitches below, or at least into part of a thread. I've split the thread there and just pull that thread through like so. Gorgeous. It didn't work. Hello, come on Mary, you can do this. Here we go. And then go back into the same spot that you were in when you pulled that knot through. And the reason is we just want to close that knot inside the lining so it doesn't come undone, or doesn't stick out at that matter. In the meantime, that's all you're going to do. You're going to go into the very next stitch, and you can see where I'm going. I'm not going to the whole stitch. I'm just going into the thread. If this is too much for you, because the thread is the same color as the bag, you can go inside the stitch and outside, inside and outside all the way through. If this is too much for you to do it this way, all right? There's no right or wrong way of popping lining on the bag, all right? And I don't think you want to see me do this, but it's literally just at the very, very top of the bag, pull it through, and then go into the very next stitch or the second stitch. You know, it doesn't have to be extremely close, but I like to get it as close as I can. And as you go, you might find these needles are in the way. Just take them out, yeah? Otherwise, you're not going to be able to continue your work, yeah? So take them out. And did I go through? No, not yet. So go through the next one. Like so. And then into the very next stitch. That's not pulled down enough. There we go. Into the very next stitch. There. I keep pulling onto the needles. Just be careful of these needles, yeah? All right. And that's pretty much it. I don't need to show you anymore. What I want you to do is continue going into your material on the edge there, like that, and into the stitch below the stitch that we're going to work in later. Right below there, yeah? So continue doing that all the way in the round. Meet me right back here at this last yellow, or near the stitch marker if you will, once you're done, and then we'll talk about what we're going to do next. Alrighty guys, so here I am at the end of this section here. I'm going to pull out my last needle. I have a gap still, like there's still some space there to work with. And all I'm going to do, simply, is this. Keep going into, I might do a little bit less around here rather than big gaps. I've been leaving big gaps, as you can see. But I'm just going to do it a little bit less in the corner because I need that to be fairly tight. And just keep going until you get to your very first stitch, which was, see right there, that's where it is, yeah? So we're going to do a couple more, yep, in there. Leave your stitch marker, you need that in a minute. And that's it, we're done. So what we want to do now is simply this. Make sure it's all done and all correct and you haven't pulled anything and everything's fine, because now what we're going to do is simply this. We're going to make a little knot, not a big one, 1, 2, and just pull that through, because what we want to do is weave into your crochet. Just weave it through the crochet rather than the material. So weave your thread, your needle through that crochet there, go right across to the other side, weave it through, not going to hurt. Just make sure it's not going through this side. You don't want to see it on the yellow or anything. So just weave it right through there. And then that's it. You've weaved it through 3 times. You've knotted it once. That's plenty. Cut it. And you have now attached your lining to the bag. So if you were to take off your glasses like this and pop it in there, there's plenty of space and lots of space in there, right? So don't worry about that. I'm going to put those back on, otherwise I won't be able to see. All right, get excited, guys. We're going to attach our purse or our glasses case to our clasp. Alrighty, guys, to attach your clasp to your purse, this, I asked you to keep your stitch marker here because this is going to be a corner. All right, it's going to be the corner. If you look carefully at your base, it goes like that. So we're going to start on the inner side of, open it up like that, and that right hand side, yeah? Now this stitch marker needs to face the corner, all right? So that your corner lands in a corner, if that makes any sense, yeah? So what I'm going to do is get you to count 6 stitches back from your stitch marker. So you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and you're going to start in the first stitch of the grey, right there. There, right there, all right? So what you need to do is grab a piece of thread, just the same colour as what we've been using to crochet around our squares. Double it, but don't knot it, like leave it half double, if that makes any sense. Don't knot it and leave half a strand hanging, yeah? So what I want you to do first is grab this piece, count your 6 back again because I just lost it. It doesn't matter, I can go all the way into, because I know these first 5 stitches were 5, so I can go into the top of that yellow stitch there, all right? And then you want to, let's pull it through first. Then you just want to pull it through and leave yourself a little tail, yeah? Now grab your Kisslock and pop your needle through the first space of your Kisslock itself. The clasp, we'll call it a clasp so you know what I'm talking about. So leave a little bit of tail for weaving in ends later. And what I want you to do here is I want you to go into a second stitch on, oh, it's so far away, hello. Into a second stitch on your actual purse, and then into the second loop of the clasp. All right, so you've used the first 2 loops and the first 2 stitches. And don't get it caught, look what I just did. I got it caught around the clasp. Don't do that. I do that every time I make these bags. Whoop, don't pull that too tight. But just quickly, what we want to do is actually go back in that first stitch, in that first space of the clasp, like that. And we want to go back into the first stitch. Only because I want to lock this into place for now. Oh, not that way. Yes, that way. That's the way. Hello, Mary. Do it right. All right. Then you want to go back into the second stitch and into the second space. All right. And now you're on your way. That's going to stay nice and tight. Then you go into your third space of your clasp and your third stitch of your purse. Okay, it's going to be tricky to find the stitches for now. The first row is always difficult to make. Once you get past that first row, the rest is easy. Oops. I'm getting a little bit caught there, don't get caught. And there you go. Now into the 4th and into your 4th. Into your 5th. And find your 5th stitch. You're in that one there, are we? Yep. So you're going to go into your next one. Right there. All right. So this is, it's a little awkward because we're getting close to the corner. So remove this stitch marker. All right. Now you go into the next stitch and then into your corner stitch there. And we're now officially into the corner here. All right, so I'm going to explain the corner to you in a minute. What I want you to do is find the very next stitch to go into, wherever that is, there, for the corner, okay? But for the same loop in that corner, you're going to go into the very next stitch and then pop it in the same loop of the corner. That just closes up your corner a little better. So if you pull at it now, you'll notice that it closes a bit better. You might want to tighten these guys here too, by the way. See that? That does come a little loose before you continue. And then you'll find, oh, that's not going to work. I'll try tightening this first. And then you'll find this will work. All right. It's caught everywhere. Hello. And tug it, and then it's all nice and tight. All right. The idea of this is just to keep that corner nice and tight. All right. We're going to continue anyways. It's going to tighten up a little more. All right. So what you want to do is go right into the very next stitch, next space of your clasp. And then you go in the very next stitch of your purse. So you're actually losing a stitch on your purse, into the corner. So you've got 2 stitches in the corner on one space of your clasp, all right? I hope that made sense. So the back of it will look a little different from the rest. All right, don't worry about that. We can sort that out later. And I've allowed for extra stitches for that to happen anyways. So next stitch, next space. All right, that's pretty much the stitch all the way through. So what I want you to do is continue in that manner, get to the very end. Once you get to the corner, remember, you put it in one stitch, come through and put it in a second stitch in the same corner space. All right, so 2 stitches in each corner. So you've got 2 in there, 2 in there, and 1 in every other stitch. All right, head off on your own, do this whole side, get to this part right here, and I'll meet you there once you're done. Alrighty guys, here I am at the end of this section. Now I did find the second corner a little tricky. What I did was I managed to come through here, go back in and then find a second stitch from this section. So I almost went backwards rather than forwards, if that made any sense. But it doesn't matter, we're here, we made it. Alright, so I've got 1 space left. So I'm going to pop my sewing needle in the last stitch on this section and the last space on that section, and I've split the yarn. Let's try that again. That section right there, and then pull it through like so. And what you've done is completed 1 section, but you're not finished yet. You have to go back in the opposite direction of what you came through, and I'll talk about that in a second. Let's get a nice close-up. What you want to do first is just tighten up all of this. Make sure these are tight. You don't want that coming loose later. See how loose that is? Then we've got to tighten that part there. And so we now have gaps along here. We're going to fill in those gaps. So you're going to go straight through, being careful, don't lose the stitch. Go back into the stitch. All right, I hope this is all making sense now. Just tighten it up as you go now, because this you can't adjust it later. So back into the very next stitch. I went straight through that stitch and into the next space right there. See that next space right there? And pull that loop through. Nice and tight, yeah? Now into the very next space. And if you keep your work tight, that will go through the next stitch. See that stitch right there? That will go through there, so it won't come loose ever. All right, and oh, I don't know where I am now because the corner stitch was doubled up anyway, right there. All right, so make sure when you go in that corner stitch, see there's a big gap there? You don't want that. You want to go into the work, and if you can't find it, just push it right in and then go into the corner stitch, watching that you don't pin yourself. Right there, gorgeous. All right, so you don't want to pin yourself. Go right back into the very next stitch and the very next space right there. There, little tight now, especially that corner area is very tight because you've gone through it twice, yeah? And then right into the other space. Now look, I've come right through. We don't want to do that. We want to make sure that we get all the thread. So you might want to really hold that pouch up there now. And there I've gone through the stitch. So you can see the stitch right there. All right, so I'm not going to let you sit here and watch me do this. It'll take forever. But your job now is to fill up the spaces that you see here. Fill up that space, that space. See how we've filled them all up now? And you're going to do exactly the same all the way through, making sure that this is nice and snug so that you don't miss any stitches. All right, off you go and do that. Get to the end right here, and I'll meet you there once you're done. Alrighty guys, once you get to the end of this section here, and I had a few little problems here as well. I still went through it a few times, so it's kind of double thickness there, but it's pretty important to get that really tightened up there. Let's try that, tighten that up a bit. Now, I've already got this doubled up from before when we did our very first stitch. So what we're going to do here, it doesn't matter, we're still going to go through the last 2 stitches, or at least the last 1 stitch. Let's see if I can get that through here. Get through that last, that took me forever. Sorry guys, I had to do that off air to get that through there. But there you go. And then just 1 more stitch there I think will suit. And then we'll start weaving in these ends. All right. There is 1 more. I do apologise here. Right at the very end. Very difficult to see here. There it is, right there. So go into the stitch. And then into that very last. Oh, that took forever. I do apologise, guys. This is really tight now. All right, so what we've got now is this. This is where we are. I'm going to pass my thread in through the stitch just before the spot there. All right, and then I can actually weave my tail in. I made this tail way too long. I can actually weave my tail in here. Now this is going to be easy here. It's going to be more difficult when we do the other side. But what you want to do is just grab some threads here that you want to weave in anywhere you want. Anywhere, it doesn't matter. I'm going to make a shorter tail next time because this drove me up the wall. Pull that out. You don't want that there. You can have it there, but I just don't think it's going to hold. But anyway, pull that out there. And just keep weaving ends there. Did you get it caught on the clasp a lot like I did? Excuse me, Mary. This just went on the whole time. Okay, anyway, that's one way. And now you want to go a few stitches on the opposite direction like so. Cut your work. Mind my big scissors, I can't find the little ones. They're around somewhere. I'm going to change threads because I've wrecked that one. And I want you to weave that one in, but see if you can kind of weave it in here. All right, I'm not going to show you how to do that because that's just going to be trying on the camera. So that's your first part of your Kisslock Purse. You really should have checked it before you weave that tail in. Doesn't matter, mine was correct. And now we're going to start on this side. Alrighty guys, so I've rethreaded my needle. Now the way this part works to make it all fit, I calculated that if we count 3 stitches across here and those 3 stitches sit there, then I will have 27 stitches to attach to this, but I'll have 1 extra, which is 28 and 29 for the corners, because we're doing an extra stitch in the corners, yeah? And then I'll still have 3 on this side. So really you need to make sure that you've got 29 stitches to fit those 27 holes, because we're going to add an extra one in the corner again, remember? And then you've got spare stitches here, which are supposed to stay there, otherwise your purse will not be able to open and close. It'll be too tight. You wouldn't be able to, it'll be like that. All right, so make sure you count your stitches across. Now I've got 1, 2, 3, and in the 4th one, I pop my needle and then I pop it in the space right there, like so. Let's try that again. 1, 2, 3 in the 4th, and then I pop it into the space. I forgot to stop pulling the thread through. Excuse me, Mary, you forgot to stop pulling it through. All right, so there's the thread. Don't pull it all the way through. Don't you laugh? Funny girl. All right, so she's funny. Into the 2nd space, hold your thread so it doesn't come through, and then into the 2nd stitch. She's so naughty. Into the 2nd stitch, like we did before, exactly the same, but remember we're going back into that 1st stitch and then back into the 1st, pull that in, back into the 1st hole of your clasp. Pull it through like so. Oh, that didn't work. I knew it was going to get caught on the clasp. Pull it through like so. And then back into your 2nd stitch yet again. All right, and I think you know the rest. But I'm going to finish off that 2nd stitch because I don't want you to be caught up. There's the 2nd stitch. Just give that a tug. And then go into your 3rd stitch and your 3rd space. I've got the kitten playing toys here, guys. Sorry about that noise in the background. I can't stop it from playing. Don't you love it? All right, so you don't have to hear my kitten play noise. Keep going all the way through and make sure you pop 2 stitches in 1 space of the corner, and then just keep going, 2 stitches in 1 space of the corner, and then just keep going until you get to here. It's going to be very tight once you get here, but get there and I'll meet you there once you're done. Alrighty guys, here I am at the end of this section. Now my thread actually broke halfway through. I think I might have pulled too tight. So I had to reattach and then start again. Don't you love it? Anyway, I have 1 more stitch left. Where am I? I'm at the back here now. I have 1 more stitch left. So I'm going to go into that space first and then find a last stitch, which for me, I'll bring this up for you so you can see it. For me is real tricky because it's nice and tight, but the tight means that we did the job right. And I'm trying to get my sewing needle in that tight stitch, which is real tricky. Okay, whose idea was to do this purse in the first place? It was mine. Okay, so there it is, right there. Oh, that was tricky. So once you do your last stitch, you should have 3 stitches across this way. You may even have 4, that's okay. If it's too loose, you may need to take undone and try stitching a few extras. It might mean you might have had a few extra stitches in the round by mistake, right? But otherwise, that's perfect. Otherwise, you could have just pushed everything in and went through any stitch if you like. The problem with that is that gaps will form, okay? So we're here now. Guess what? We have to go back in the other direction. We haven't finished. I'm just going to give this a bit of a tug. Not too much. I don't want my cotton to break like it did before. Don't you love it? All right, so once again, you are going through, and you may need to really, get in there. Going through, not that one. Hello. I'm not going to be able to find it. I found it. Hello. Excuse me. Go through the next one, and so on all the way down, making sure you are going in your stitches. It might be difficult to see now because your stitches are nice, your piece is nice and tight and close to your Kisslock purse, but I would really make sure that this is in. All right, so try and, oh, here I'm right over here, too far. There. I might have been out of frame there, sorry guys, but I don't want to take it out because I don't want to find it again. Just keep going, don't you love it? She doesn't want to take it out so she doesn't have to find it again. Going through this way is easier when you go back this way. Yeah? You still have to find, oh, not your lining. You still have to find your stitch. All right, so make sure you find your stitch and go through each stitch across. It might be a bit thick here because you've got your corners. All right, I'm not going to let you sit here watch me do this one. Do this all the way through, and you're making sure you're filling up these gaps. So you're coming out of this way and into that, out of this and into that, out of this into that, all the way until you get to the end here. Meet me there once you're done and get ready to finalize our Kisslock glasses case or purse. Alrighty guys, here I am at the end of our row, and it's been tough. It's been really tough. So you want to get into the very last stitch right there. Gorgeous. And then you want to go back into, remember that last stitch? We want to get back into right there. Oh, if you can. That was tough. And then you just want to go through over that and into the very next stitch there, and then pull that thread out, know where that came from. Then you want to weave in your end in here. All right, so cut that, and you can actually do the other two tails off air. I would go with these tails that go in the opposite direction. This one can go in the opposite direction. Let's just hide them in here for now. And I've got two extra tails right here because my thread cut, because I pulled it too tight. There you go. All right, so here's the big test. Do my glasses fit this case? Yes, they do. Gorgeous. All right. Oh, hello. And there you go. That's it. You have completed your glasses case or your Kisslock purse, whichever one you created. And I need those glasses. I can't see what I'm doing here, but it doesn't matter. I'm not doing any more work. All right. So you can use your Kisslock purse or glasses case for whatever you want to use it for. I will be using it for my glasses, so there you go. All right, thank you very much for watching. I cannot believe how long this took. Thank you very much for watching us create this gorgeous glasses case or Kisslock purse. Colour combination chosen by the lovely, we call her Tim Tam Tina because she's the Aussie Tina. We have an American Tina and an Australian Tina. So we'll just call her Tim Tam Tina. She knows who she is. And she chose these beautiful colours today that we were going to make for our gorgeous Kisslock purse or glasses case. I made mine for my glasses case because I need a cover. Thank you very much, Tina, for your colour combination, and thank you guys for joining us. I'm so sorry that it took so many tutorials to get this complete, but small granny squares, they are tricky. Thank you for joining us again. My name is Mary, and this is Wow Crochet Designs. Ciao for now.